Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Epic Marvel Podcast. It's great to be streaming live with you today. I hope that everyone's having a good weekend so far. I'm just kind of starting mine. It's Saturday morning here, and I'm a little behind schedule. I've got 3 boxes with Epic collections in them that we need to open up because it's been so busy. I haven't had the time to do a live stream, but that's why we are here today. So let's see. We've got a bunch of the regulars: Ultra, Mega, Nicola, okay, and James, a surprise Saturday live show. That's right. Um, Good afternoon to everybody here. It's great to see you all. Um, Look at that amazing wall of epics. Yeah, you can't even see half of it because it goes all the way down to up to the ceiling and down to the floor. So it is quite a wall with nearly 350 of them, I think, at this point. Sitting in the air conditioning, reading Avengers: The Final Threat. That is an excellent book to read. And I understand a lot of people are in extreme heat right now, so I hope everyone is staying safe. It's been hot here in Vancouver in British Columbia, but not that hot. So we are very thankful we aren't in that heat dome that everybody else is in. Oh, yeah, I got some more people, some more of the regulars. Good to see everybody. Um, Hoping the new She-Hulk epic is in one of those boxes. You know what? It's a very good chance that it is. But let's just take a look at the first one and find out, shall we? These are all epic collections that I think are coming out toward the end of July. Okay, we've got reprint. Oh, they sent me 2 copies. I'm not sure why, but they sent this is the reprint of Silver Surfer Freedom, and this is the beginning of Silver Surfer's run in the 80s. And when did it start? So I guess the first issue here is 1980, but that's not the first issue of the series. That's the one shot he had. Let's see if we can find the cover to that. I really like this cover, Bisema, um, with a John Byrne tail on the inside, with Stan Lee doing the scripting. Stan Lee had very tight control over Silver Surfer for a long time, um, but some wonderful uh, like zipatone kind of shading in the background here. Very nicely restored. Actually, it looks more like duo shade. I think it's duo shade shading. Can't tell up close. And that's kind of the point, actually, with duo shade. But that's kind of cool. Yeah, big tail with Mephisto. And then you get into the 1980s run that I think starts in 1983. Or no, 1987. Sorry, 1987. And that is the start of Steve Englehart's run on Silver Surfer with art from Marshall Rogers. And this is when Silver Surfer gets to go back to outer space. Because if you remember, he was banished to Earth for the longest time. And so here in this run is when he finally gets to be the surfer, what do they call, the sentinel of the spaceways, and he gets to meet up with some old buddies and some old enemies, and meet the new Herald of Galactus. And Marshall Rogers has an interesting style. He is he's a great artist. He tends to be a little bit more simplistic in his style. You can see the lack of backgrounds here to focus on the characters. Um, but he has a great sense of storytelling, and combine that with Steve Englehart's script, they go into some pretty wacky places. It's not overly serious Silver Surfer, um, but at the same time, he does have the retro, kind of the introspective nature that he always does. That he always has. Anyway, the restoration in this is really nice. Really nice book. They put a lot of effort into making these issues look really, really nice. All of the uh, all of the color holds look really, really good, which means they went in and actually recolored all of them. There's a look at Galactus. in the form that eternity sees him in. Kind of one thing that people forget about Galactus is that he can take on any form, and apparently he is he looks different to every person. Every person views him in the way that they uh, that they're used to, or something that relates to their species or whatever. So there you go. Yeah, reprint. Let me get you a date on that. This reprint is coming Silver Surfer 3, uh, July 16. July 16. So that's that. Let's see here. Imagine Galactus looking like a Skrull. Yeah. What volume number is this? I forgot to say. You're right. It's volume 3. It's Silver Surfer Epic Collection volume 3. Curtis, you ever skip epics for any reason? Like if you don't like a particular run or character, or is it more important for you to have a complete and unbroken run? Well, I mean, that was the thing that absolutely drew me to the epics in the first place, was the fact that they weren't skipping any issues. And I am one who really likes to have the context, even if it's a bad run or a bad series. So to be able to have the whole thing unbroken is a big selling point to me. Um, will I read all of them? Maybe not. Will I go back and reread some of them? Probably not. But I'm still glad that I have Daredevil Root of Evil, that volume, even though it was not very good, because um because now I know why it's not very good, and now I already said that one. Now I know why now I know why, like it's placed in context. Like it's important, I think. Uh Hi Phil, good to see you. Now I wonder what Galactus looked like to Howard the Duck. Yeah, I know, right? They don't play on it very often. And I'm assuming that the way we see Galactus in the comics is just for our sake, and maybe it even looked different to the Fantastic Four, or whatever. I don't know. Be hard to describe to somebody else what Galactus looks like if he looks different to every person. Oh yeah, here's what Nicola was waiting for. She-Hulk. The new She-Hulk epic collection. I think my payday Speedy Hen order will be mostly modern epics. The two Joe trades and the first Starman Compendium. Yeah, those are good books. Yay, you got it. The She-Hulk trade. So this is volume 6 of the She-Hulk epic collections. We skipped ahead because we had volume 3. Now I can't even remember. What was it? Yeah, volume 3 and volume 4. And we skipped ahead to volume 5. We skipped ahead to volume 6. So this year's Sensational She-Hulk number 51 to 60. That's the end of this current series. Was started by John Byrne. Then also has the 4-issue Doc Samson miniseries, which is kind of cool that that's collected there. Incredible Hulk 441 and 442, which is a She-Hulk solo story. And then Thing and She-Hulk: The Longest Night from 2002, which I've never read before, and material from Marvel Comics Presents 123, 126, or to 126, and Incredible Hulk 412. So let's take a look inside. First of all, the cover's great, because remember, the very first issue of She-Hulk of this series said, "Okay, kids, buy this comic or I'll tear up your X-Men comics." And so when the series was canceled, she returns to say, "You didn't buy my book, so now I'm going to tear up your X-Men comics." I love it. I love the meta nature of her character during this era. Um, Adrenazon's Revenge, a character named Adrenazon. That's kind of weird. This the Marvel Comics Presents story? Yes, it is. This is the Marvel Comics Presents story. Um, there you go. There's the Power Pachyderms, the man elephant. So this title was definitely not an overly serious one. The introduction of the Gopher. I have never read the end of this series, but I did like the previous She-Hulk volumes, just how fun they were. Um, no, this is not more rape. That's an actual pattern on her leggings there. Live and die in LA. To die and live in LA, I should say. So who's working on this book? Let's see here. Writers: Corvess, Scott Benson, Michael Urey, Shawley Fish, Len Kaminsky, Peter David, Dan Slott, Evan Skolnick, and Todd DeZago, with pencils from Dave Hoover, Tom Morgan, Todd Britton, Darren Ock, Pat Olaf, Dennis Jensen, a whole ton of people. A lot of names that I'm not familiar with. Angel Medina, Brian Hitch, Andrew Wildman from Transformers, Joe Bennett. I know Joe Bennett. But that's interesting. Yeah, a whole wide variety because this is kind of a grab bag of different stories after, especially after the series ended. Um, let's see if we can find the covers to the Doc Samson series. Oh, there's some more She-Hulk. Rascal Wolf says there's a comic from 2002 in this. Yes, so they are this is the last volume of the classic She-Hulk series. After this, it's going to be modern. So they're kind of putting in um all of the appearances of She-Hulk that they, I guess, to fill out the rest the size of this book, in order to bring us up to the modern era. So yes, it goes up to 2002, but majority of this book is going to be from the 90s. There are a couple issues from Incredible Hulk with Paul Peltier on pencils. Looks nice. And then here, Doc Samson from Marvel Edge when they were being all edgy. And let's see here. Definitely looks like a late 90s book, doesn't it? There's She-Hulk. This one, uh, kind of, it looks very similar to like maybe stuff that Roger Cruz was doing back then, like his style back then, or the Mike Diodato studio. So it's definitely got that late 90s vibe to it, doesn't it? Oh, Andrew Wildman. This is the Andrew Wildman era. Got a little bit of some moire in some of the K-tones going on here. I don't know if you can see that in the jacket, which is not unusual for this era of Marvel Comics. Reprints, that is. Reprints from these years. Okay, and here's She-Hulk's solo story from Incredible Hulk. Yeah, that's right. It is kind of like a little bit like Mark Bagley's artwork from Thunderbolts. Has the same sort of vibe. Wildman did a few bits of Marvel US late 90s and he had some personal problems around that time. Currently self-publishing Horizon and Oxygen plus a Transformers sketch collection. That's cool. Greetings from Belgium. Hi, Jackie. Very interested in She-Hulk, but the first epic has sold out. Yeah, we're gonna have to hope for a reprint of that one, I guess. Okay, let's get to the newest issue from 2002. There it is. Back when they had the Twin Towers little label on their covers there. Who does the artwork in here? It has kind of a Alan Davis vibe to it. Let's have a look. Oh, this is Brian Hitch. That's why it has the Alan Davis vibe to it. It's Brian Hitch. I've never read that. I honestly, I didn't even know that this one shot existed until this Epic collection was announced. So that'll be fun to go through that one. There you go. Some pinups from the swimsuit magazine. And there's the back cover. The sensational She-Hulk meets the savage She-Hulk. The modern She-Hulk should begin with Dan Slott if that ends in early 2000s. Yes, I think you are right about that. So that's very cool. To die and live in LA. Okay, so that's that epic. Then we have another reprint. Into the Time Stream. This is one that's been asked for a lot recently because this has been out of print for a while. This is the very first part of Walter Simonson's era of Fantastic Four. This is volume 20. And where is that one on my shelf? Right behind me, I think. Covers look the same. Um, this is oh, they use the old font. They even kept the old font. Usually they update these reprints to have the newer font that they use. But no, they left this one the same. That's an interesting choice. Which means there's probably nothing different about this one at all. Um, which one is the new one? This one's the new one. Okay, let's have a look inside. We start off with a couple of issues from the Acts of Vengeance era of Fantastic Four, um, with Walter Simonson doing some covers in advance of his run, his start on the title. There we go. Um, this should have the first U.S. appearance of Death's Head. Yes, yes, you are correct. There it is, Death's Head, making an appearance in a U.S. Marvel comic. Um, he goes on a little adventure with them. They fight Galactus. This is quite a wild ride around all space and time. Simonson has some pretty high concepts in this book, and he takes them, Fantastic Four and Iron Man and Thor, on a big journey through the time stream. So, not every issue is drawn by Walter Simonson. He has a couple of fill-in artists here and there. Um, but I think they might be even standalone tales. Let me see here. There's a one shot right here when he teams up with X Factor's Rusty Collins. That's right. But no, it's not actually part of the big story. There's some dinosaurs in this one. Where are the dinosaurs? Maybe it's not this one. Maybe it's the next one. Yeah, it might be the next one, but there's sea monsters. This is the third printing of Into the Time Stream, is it? I can't remember. Let's see what the inside says. Second edition, first printing. So if there was a first printing, if there's a second printing of the first edition, I'm not sure, but this is second edition, first printing. Um, Mike Hansen gets a shout out here. Special thanks to Mike Hansen. So if you're watching, Mike, good job. I've been waiting for that FF Epic. I bought volume 21 a few months ago and have been waiting till this reprint comes out before I read it. Good, yeah, back to back. That's the whole Walt Simonson run is volume 20 and half of volume 21, and the whole thing. Is this the FF Epic with Elijah, the Elijah reveal? No, that is in volume 21, the one after this. That volume has Days of Future Present as well. Yes, it does, right at the back here. Annual crossover where Fantastic Four and X Factor and New Mutants all team up to fight Ahab. And this is the first, I think this is the first appearance of like the introduction to This Phoenix, can't remember if that's her first appearance or not. But yeah, um, kind of a wild story. Not my favorite of stories. We've got some nice Arthur Adams art in here for people who like Arthur Adams. He does that was good. Also, Walt Simonson's pencils are goated. He is very, very good, isn't he? Yes, he's got such a great, unique style, and I love that he plays with large shapes like this one right here. He does that all throughout this run because he's dealing with larger than life characters. Um, he's with Celestials. Oh, here's the dinosaurs. Yeah, Celestials and Galactus and everybody, and so, yeah, he loves these big splash pages with open space and lots of room to breathe, which makes his work look a lot more modern than a lot of other comic artists, from this time, um, but yeah, so oh, yeah, here's a good where did that page go? I just saw it. How much did he get paid for that one? He got his normal page rate, same as all the other pages. Ah, okay, that's that one. It's 10 years to the day between printings of that Fantastic Four epic. Interesting. Okay. Awesome. I never knew that. I've been waiting to read that story. I assume you were talking about the Days of Future Present. Last box. One more here. Let's see what we have inside today. Okay, two epic collections in this one. The first one is Star Wars Modern Era Epic Collection, Volume 1, Skywalker Strikes. This is the very first of the modern Star Wars epic collections. And they didn't put the logo on the spine this time. They just decided to write it out. Interesting. That makes it fit in with the other ones a little bit. You got the Disney logo and the Lucasfilm logo and Marvel. I think they have to split profits kind of three ways. Everybody gets a little bit of it to their own little corporation. That's going to raise the price of these books quite a bit. So yeah, this one is a $45 Epic Collection. It has Star Wars numbers 1 to 14 plus number 1 director's cut, and then Star Wars Vader Down and Darth Vader 13, 14, and 15. The whole Vader Down story, which I'm assuming will also be printed in full in the Darth Vader Epic collections as well. This is the Jason Aaron run. He started the series with John Cassidy on artwork. Ooh, just like the movies. Yeah, really just like the movies. I read this first story arc when it first came out and then never really kept going with it. So I'll be interested to read this. A lot of people love this run, like a couple you in this chat here. I'm replacing my Star Wars trades with that epic. There was a fill-in issue when Simonson was behind that came out in between a storyline where FF are in a parallel reality. Does the fill-in issue take place in that reality or in 616? I think that's the Rusty Collins issue, and I think it's in our reality in the 616 timeline. This takes place. I can't remember if this is after A New Hope, so it's before Empire. It's before Empire Strikes Back. It's kind of the first meeting, like face-to-face meeting between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, if I remember this correctly, because they don't actually meet face to face in the movie until Empire Strikes Back. Greedo. So Kieran Gillen is the one who was writing Darth Vader at the very beginning, and so he gets a lot of stuff in this book as well because of the crossover. Oh, there's a cool Jabba the Hutt right there. Some nice covers. I think I might actually like the trade dress for the modern epics more than the classic epics. Hey, there you go. A lot of people were not happy with this black bar down the side, but I mean, depending on which cover you get, I think that this works really really well. For this cover, it works nice. For some of the other ones, um, because of the composition of the page, shrinking it down or cutting off portion of it doesn't work as well. Vader Down is really good too. There's a great scene where Vader is surrounded and he says, "All I can see are dead men." Nice. I think I had the first trade of that Star Wars run. Curtis, do you know, or at least do you have a vague idea on how many modern era epics it will take to complete Ed Brubaker's Captain America run? Well, didn't he have like four Omnis? Is that right? Am I right in thinking that? If you split all of those in half, you're talking eight epic collections. That would be my guess. I haven't mapped that out fully, so I don't really know. Where's some oh, there's a cool looking page. Really like the style there. Don't know who this artist is, but I really like it. Let's see if I can find out with all of you watching me on the live stream. Star Wars 13, Vader down. Star Wars 13 is 8 to 12. Star Wars 13, Mike Diodato Jr. You know, I really like Mike Diodato's style in this era. Like once he got past the 90s, he has some really, really great stuff. And I read a book of his called um, Not All Robots. And he is absolutely incredible in this. Fantastic artwork, just phenomenal. Love what he evolved into because he really shed the the 90s over the top kind of sensational style to go a lot more kind of gritty. Um, oh, and then here's Salvador LaRocca. This is what is this 2015? Salvador LaRocca still. This is kind of the transition between the period that like his early stuff that I did like. So he's on the other end. I like his 90s stuff way more than I like the the stuff that he does now. Um, so it's not completely, it still it looks still enjoyable at this point. But man, I did not like that Obi-Wan series. Looked terrible. Sorry, Salvador. Got some original art in the back here. Lots of variant covers, including this Sergio Aragonis cover. I love it. Star Wars. And the toy variant covers. There's a lot of them. Holy cow. Interview with Kieran Gillen. Variant cover art from John Cassidy. There's the script from the director's cut, Star Wars #1. There's a lot of bonus features in here. There's probably like, I don't know, there's got to be like 50 pages at least of bonus material, all of that. And then the next in the Star Wars Modern Era Epic Collections is going to be Darth Vader. That's pretty cool. New era. So I was on a live stream yesterday on Near Mint Condition, and we talked about Star Wars Droids and Ewoks Epic Collection, which is the very, very last Star Wars Legends Epic Collection that will be released. After that, all of the classic material that's pre Disney buyout is now in Epic Collection form. At least the stuff that they are allowed to put in there, because the manga license is elsewhere and the all ages license is elsewhere. So they, as far as they're concerned, it's complete. They've got everything in there. And then this is the start of the new era, and they're collecting it different because the old Star Wars Epic collections are all chronological in the timeline order, right? So it's like all of the stuff, regardless of when it was published, they're putting it in order of how events unfold in the Star Wars timeline. This one they're doing it in by series. So we have a Star Wars epic collection. We're going to get a Darth Vader epic collection, and they already announced, but pulled from the schedule. So I assume it will be released a Kanan Star Wars epic collection as well. And the reason they do that instead of timeline order is because they're still making new material. So you can't just put everything in timeline order because all of a sudden, when someone down the road creates a story that takes place in between issues here, like the epic collection's already made. So it makes more sense to collect it by series like this. Brubaker had 5 Omnis altogether. So if you just split those in half, we're talking about 10 volumes of modern era Captain America by Ed Brubaker. That is a lot. Pretty amazing. 5 Omnis, but some of them are really small. First printings were coming out before he was done to map it properly. Okay, so maybe not quite 10, but it's going to be a fair deal. That's yeah, that's a lot. How big is your Epic collection? It is pretty big. I think we're almost up to 350 Epic collections, and that is how big it is on the wall behind me. The modern dress really depends on the cover indeed. It worked well on Loki, but very bad on Dark Avengers. You are 100% correct. Really like modern Diodato too, although I did not like the original Sin and Infinity Wars. You got them for the art. Yeah, there you go. Good job. I'm starting to read Captain America. Everyone is suggesting Brubaker's run, but I remembered you suggested a different one in an old live stream. I'll get to this in just a second. Favorite run that you could suggest? Where are my Captain America epics? Captain America. I really like this run right here by J.M.D. Mateus. This is volumes 10 and 11. And it actually starts in volume. He had a story also in volume 9 before he became the regular writer. But these two volumes are J.M.D. Mateus on Captain America. And I actually just really like these ones. It's classic Captain America, um, battling big Red Skull story, and um, just a lot of fun. You're going to see Nomad, you'll see Falcon, and uh, a- and it has it- I really like JMD Mateus because he has a really good sense of all of the characters that he writes, and in Captain America, it's no different. It's classic Captain America, but it doesn't feel like he's treading old ground or trying to reinvent the character to be different either. So, but he's a solid writer with some good stories. So check that one out. But Ed Brubaker is a good jumping on point as well, especially if you like the modern stuff because um is good. And I just read the that epic that's coming out next week, and um it dives a lot into the history of Captain America in the first story arc because a lot of characters from his past come up in conversation, and I think it assumes a lot of that a lot of past Captain America history, including some of the stuff that happens in JMD Mateus's run. Hmm. Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. No problem. By the way, you're from Italy. That's awesome. Looking forward to this Hulk. Here, let's talk about it. This is Hulk Epic Collection Volume 9. It's called To Kill or Be Killed. Um, Very similar to the She-Hulk title, which was To Die and Live in LA. So we got a theme going on with these Hulk characters. Um, let's see here. Incredible Hulk 227 to 244 plus annual 7, 8, and 9, and Captain America 230, volume 9. Um, this is the Roger Stern era. Here's the king size annual right off the bat there by Roger Stern and John Byrne doing the artwork there. That's pretty cool. This I think this story is also collected in the X-Men Epic Collection Volume 4, the one that's the in-between issues when the title was canceled, because this one has some X-Men characters in it. But here we go. Roger Stern, Moonstone, The Moonstone is a harsh mistress. Moonstone being a character that a prominent character in the 90s as she comes back as a different character. Um, should I spoil it? No, I'm not going to spoil it. So this is Sal Buscema doing the artwork, and I just recently read his Defenders, um, Enter the Headman, Defenders Volume 2. He does most of the artwork in that Volume 2, which is great. And one of the things that Sal does a lot is the hero gives an uppercut, or the bad guy gives an uppercut, and then you see the main character flying backwards and his head is bent back and whatever, and he does that like once per issue. So I counted it, and it was pretty much once per issue in that book. So, oh, here, there's another example right there. That's what I'm talking about. And so now that's kind of, I'm going to go through this book as well and count every time we see Sal Buscema do that pose, because it is a signature Buscema pose. See if I can find another one for you in here somewhere. Um, that Hulk annual is in X-Men Proteus. Thanks. I had my timeline a little bit mixed up there. I couldn't remember. But yeah, I knew it was in an X-Men Epic Collection because I remember reading it in that context. Um, we get some Machine Man action here. Machine Man is a Kirby creation from the 70s, and this is 1978, so it would have come out a few years before this, I guess. Kill or Be Killed. Looks like Machine Man is going to be the star of the story, the title story. When the city dies. Fun stuff. This looks so good. Oh man, what happened to the Hulk? Zombie Zema had a really, really long run on the Hulk. It was, I think, his longest running series. He was on it for like over a decade. Really did a lot to determine um, just the look and feel of the Hulk. He went through a lot of different inkers during that time as well. So let's see, this one is inked by Sal himself. He self inks this one, which is unusual because Sal is a fast penciler. So usually they put him on like two or three books at once. Oh, this looks like Steve Ditko right here. Let's see. What is this one I'm looking at? Yep, Steve Ditko and Al Milgrom doing a king size annual. Um, yeah, they usually put Sal Buscema on a few different books because he could get them done super, super fast, and so you'd always have a different inker with him. But if he had the time, he did it himself. There's Carmine Infantino drawing the Hulk. He wasn't with Marvel for very long. He's mainly a DC guy, but Carmine Infantino does pop up quite a bit in those few years in the 70s. I think Spider Woman comes to mind. He did a bunch of Star Wars issues as well. Marvel Treasury Edition covers that had reprints of some of the issues, and calendar, 1975 calendar, um, all about the Hulk. They reprinted the calendar in oh, maybe just the Hulk pages. 1975, 76, 77, yeah. Just the Hulk pages. They reprinted, I think, the Spider-Man pages in a Spider-Man Epic Collection as well. Oh no, looks like it's all here. It must have just been a Hulk calendar. That's cool. Some of Hulk's greatest moments in this calendar. That would have been cool to have on your wall. Some great artwork there. And what is this? Marvel Superhero Portfolios. Incredible Hulk featured 4 plates painted by Steve Faster and Rich Larson. And they have them on here. That's kind of a cool bonus. Didn't know that existed. Wow. Really nice. and then some original John Byrne art. I believe those pages might be featured in that X-Men Epic collection as well. Ernie Chan, Ernie Chan cover right there. Original art. Some sketches that are found on the back pages of original art. Some notes. That's kind of cool that you have those. Dave Cockrum cover sketch. Neat bonuses. Yeah, some other and a Fred Hembeck advertisements. There you go. Okay, when does this Hulk epic come out? Let's find out. She-Hulk is coming out July 23. Star Wars is coming out July 30. And Hulk is coming out July 30 as well. And Fantastic Four is 23. So yeah, they're grouped in the order of the boxes that I gave that they came. Silver Surfer is July 16. She-Hulk and Fantastic Four reprint are July 23rd, and then Star Wars and Hulk are July 30th, and that wraps up the July Epic collections. So that means we'll probably see my live stream next week. We'll see Cable Deadpool #1, and that's it. That's what's going to come on next week. So there we go. That's a lot of Epic collections. Um, let's see. Let's get them all back on the screen here. Star Wars. Fantastic Four. She-Hulk. And Silver Surfer. There we go. 5 Epic collections that we talked about today. Uh, I do wish they'd squeezed the Machine Man and Jocasta 2-in-1 issues into the Machine Man Complete collection. They're referenced in the 2020 mini and in the Iron Man 2020 thickie. So yeah, I think maybe if they did a Epic collection for Machine Man, maybe they would put it in there. Um, but I mean, that one was that Machine Man complete collection was pushing the limits in terms of page count before having to bump it up to another tier. So they might have had to just leave it out just because of the space issues. But if they split it into some two thinner trades, maybe they would have been able to put that in there. Use those muscles. Thank you. Um, thank you, Curtis. I always appreciate you doing this. Not a problem, Logan Wayne. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. Um, we should be getting new Epic Collection announcements sometime soon. I know that Marvel is furiously working behind the scenes to meet their deadlines, and so they're they have to do an order of um we have to see the order of different, like the hierarchy of collected editions. So they do all their omni planning first, and then they do their Marvel Masterworks planning, and then they do the Epic collections. So I don't think we've really seen any of the Marvel Masterworks news yet either, right? I'm not sure. I can't remember because Omar's been doing the Omni announcements. Um, we're hoping that the announcements will come before Comic-Con because that season always gets really busy for everybody. But if not, it'll have to be early August, which is a lot later than we thought. But you got to go with what's going on. Got to go with their schedule. It's going to be another Venom gate, isn't it? Well, eventually they'll get all of the Venom books out, and then there won't be any more Venom to release. So, did I miss the Elf Epic announcement? You did not. In fact, I heard it, Omar did an interview with the guy from Diamond. No, not Diamond. Dynamite, And that guy said that he's trying to secure the ALF license so that he can reprint those comic books, probably in a Kickstarter fashion like he's doing with Darkwing Duck and Gargoyles. Venom sells 100%. You're absolutely correct. That's why there's so much Venom content out there. Looking forward to the new announcements. Hopefully, there's a new line or two. Oh, James had a question here. Once Clover Press is done with the hardcovers of Terry and the Pirates, could we see an all-in-one, maybe as a trade paperback or omnibus as a Kickstarter? Um, you would not be able to do an all-in-one because that would be massive. It would be because each one of those books is 100. It would be like a I mean, I know there are some omnis that are like 1,400 pages, but that's probably what it would be. It would be about 1,400 pages, and that's quite a bit. So, I am trying to convince the powers that be that Terry and the Pirates soft covers would be a good suggestion, uh, but keeping them a year at a time, so there would still be 12 volumes. Anyway, that's what I have to share with you today. Please let me know if my Wi-Fi was working. Was it cutting out? Was it laggy or whatever? Because I've been having some Wi-Fi issues lately. I'm not exactly sure what is the issue here. What are some of the biggest epic collections? Do you mean in terms of page count? Because the biggest epic collection in terms of page count is where is it? It's Dark Avengers. Here, this one. This has the most in number of pages. I can't remember what it is, something like 500 and I mean, there's no page numbers in here, but it's over 530, I think, something like that. So that is um that's the biggest one. The Star Wars Ewoks and Droids, I think, might be bigger. That one's coming out. It might be a little bit bigger, but I think this one's currently the biggest one to date. And other big ones include Iron Fist. The Iron Fist one has also got a really large page count. Otherwise, I would suggest going to Wikipedia and looking up Epic Collections because they list all of the page numbers there. And last I checked, I haven't been there for a while, but you were able to filter or sort the table by page count. That was one of the columns. Oh, yeah, yeah, 552 pages, that's right, 552. Um, yeah, you were able to sort it by page count so you could see which ones were the thickest. Iron Fist is 520 to yeah, 520, 522, 525, I think, something like that. There's a few that are around the 528 page count. Yeah, that's what you meant, 528. Okay, well, you know what? I am going to do another live stream right after this because I work for a book company called Clover Press, and we're doing uh, like we were talking about the Terry and the Pirates books. They're not Marvel comics. It's a bunch of other stuff, but Clover Press shipped me a whole box of new releases and a few old releases, and so I'm going to show them off on the live stream over on the Clover Press YouTube channel, and I'm going to do that right after I hang up here. Once I end this live stream, I need to create the next live stream, so it'll be up in a few minutes. So search up Clover Press on YouTube or find the Clover Press Facebook page. And I think James looks like he's. I don't know if he's. Am I allowed to give you access? I don't know how to give you access to post links in the chat, but you- um, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So thanks everybody for listening to my live stream and checking out these new epic collections. If you want to head over to Clover Press and join me for a little bit more comic conversation of a different sort, then you're more than welcome to do that. Otherwise, I hope that everybody enjoys their weekend. So yeah, see you later.